Hey guys, how's it going? Dragox55 here, and today we are going to show off the Hopeless Dragon deck. Now, let me point something out here, that the fact that someone wanted me to throw cards of consonants in this deck. The deck does not need cards of consonants, so I'm sorry to break the news to you. Technically, there is a way you could use it. There's a card that brings a normal monster back from the grave. That's a dark monster, and there's a tuner that's a dark monster dragon, but I'm not playing a variant like that, and I don't think it runs faster if you do. So, you know, it's kind of pointless to do that. So, I mean, if you want me to, if you really feel like the need to, then you go ahead, but I feel like this is a better variant and just does more that you wanted to than other stuff. So anyways, this is Hopeless Dragons. Hopeless Dragons is a deck that involves using, obviously, Mr. Big Old Red Eyes over here, and a special summon big old dark, high beater dark dragons. So, for dark attribute dragons. So basically, these three right here. So, yeah, that's what I understand from the deck wiki, so anyways, let's actually get into the deck. So first, and before it was like a top place or something, it cost like a bunch of money, so I guess, I don't know. I don't really know too much about Hopeless other than this, so basically what you're trying to do, oh my gosh, I'm confused. 2 Armageddon Knights. Alright, here we go. Armageddon Knight lets you send a dark monster to the grave when you summon it, either by Mystic Tomato, Call the Haunted, or just by normal summoning itself, or even different dimension reincarnation. Now, what you want to do is send one of the following 2 monsters, which would be Noralis, is it Nor-E, or is it Noralower? Whatever. Sky Scourge, or you send Red Ice. Mostly you want to send Red Eyes first and then this card, but basically you can send either one. Then you want to send Zephyros if you have both those in the grave already. So just do it that way. That's how I do it. Next up we have Zephyros, Blackwing, whatever. He's just a thing that lets you bounce something back to your hand once per duel. But if you do, then it does if you bounce something back to the hand, you take 400 damage. Also, it lets you special summon this monster from your grave, so it's pretty good. Definitely worth it if you're trying to make a rank 4 XYZ. Also, he adds to the dark count. 2 Card Troopers, pretty nice. Lets you mill through the deck. You can technically take him out for a Raikou or even Lila's, which either way, but I personally like him in there. So basically what his thing is, you can mill 1, 2, or 3 cards, or send up to 3 cards, and he gets 500 attack for each card sent, and if he's destroyed, you draw a card. So 2 of these are fine. Usually you would see these in Lightsworn, but ever since Lightsworn was already proven to be fast enough without it, there was no point in running this in Lightsworn, but in this deck it works perfectly fine. Also, it was ran in plants. 1 Dark Urn because you run tons of darks. 1 Dark Greffer. You can run 2. I like 1. I'm planning on taking something out to make room for something. I'm planning on taking one of him out, or maybe just take out the Armageddon engine, but because he works, this guy works for a certain extent, but if you don't have like a big old dark monster in your hand, you can't special summon him, so it's not that great. I don't really care for Dark Greffer as a card, but he's there. Next up we have 3 Dark Horse, and basically his effect doesn't really matter, but his thing is once per turn, after resolving spell card during your main phase, bonus main phase, you can target 1 level 4 dark monster in your graveyard, and special summon it and face up, or special summon it and this card has to be face up to activate the effect. Usually you'll never get that effect off, but basically you can get Greffers, Zephyros, Armageddons, Summoner Monks, Phantom Chaos, Mystic Tomato, whatever else you want, so it's pretty good. One Photon Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, probably one of the better dragons nowadays, other than Dragon Rulers. And what he does is, well, you don't worry about the tributing. You're bringing him out by Red Eyes, or Call the Haunter, Different Dimension Reincarnation. And basically, he can banish himself and an opponent's monster, and they both come back at the end phase, or at the end of the battle phase, and he gains 500 for each material that was banished, I think it was, or detached or something like that. So yeah, both monsters return, and he gains 500 for each XYZ material the monster had. So not only does he get like a 1000 point boost, because most XYZs are for 2 cards, and he also basically gets past like Mirror Force, Deep Prison, anything that activates in battle phase, so there's no reason not to add him. And he's 3000 attack, so maybe if you wanted to speed up the deck a little bit, drop one of the Dark Horse and just run these 3. I don't know, but he's pretty good. Do Mystic Tomato, because he searches through the deck. I kind of want to drop a Greffer, just to throw in another Tomato to speed up the deck, I guess. 2 of the Phantom Chaos. You banish 1 effect monster from your graveyard, and it gets the name and effect. Or is it just effect? Yeah, name and effect. It looks like. That monster's name, attack. Gains name, attack, and effect. There we go. This card must be face up to activate the effect. And if this card does any battle damage, it is automatically 0. So basically, if you haven't seen the Sky Scourge OTK, it's where you mill out a bunch of cards, summon out Phantom Chaos, then use the Sky Scourge effect on nuke the field. Then you bring out Dark Creator. Dark Creator brings out a bunch of other random stuff. And then basically, there was other cards that summon itself out. And yeah, it's a pretty strong deck if you don't get hit by a skill drain, or you don't get hit by breakthrough skill, Phoenix Chain, Effect Veiler, Plasma, or anything that basically stops you from special summoning either. So yeah, you can imagine how well this deck goes. Also, you can choose Red Eyes to activate its effect, or activate Phantom Chaos to get Dark Horse, then use Different Dimension Reincarnation to get Red Eyes back and do more shenanigans. Like, there's a bunch of things you can do. Phantom Chaos is definitely one of those really good cards, but then again, it does lag if it gets hit by skill drain, so be careful of that. He's something that you could play early game and try to get an advantage on your opponent, but if your opponent plays a grave-based deck like zombies, Insectors, don't mind the grave too much. Yeah, those are the only ones I can think of right now. So, yeah. Also, you can play them late game to mess up your opponent's strategy. So, it's pretty good if you're trying to get rid of Dragon Rulers as well. Just keep in mind about random stuff. Except Dragon Rulers have their nasty abilities come back on the field, so be careful when they're sent to the grave stuff, so yeah. 1 Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. You can special summon this by banishing 1 dragon type, and you can special summon 1 dragon type monster from your hand or graveyard. Pretty overpowered for a dragon, considering you can, in the olden days, you can just, when there was Future Fusion, it's mill 3 Red Eyes, 2 Waverin, or it was like, I'm trying to think what the OTK was. It was mill 2 Red Eyes, mill 1 Prime, and mill 2 Waverins. And basically after that, you would use Waverin to get 1 Red Eyes, use Waverin to get another Red Eyes, and in the third, and then when you get your turn again, you bring out Prime Material, and then you do an OTK, because your opponent can't Mirror Force you because of Prime Material. So, pretty nasty. He is very, very overpowered for what he can do, so he's very easy to bring out if you were playing a heavy base dragon deck, but this one is just dragon enough, I would say. So anyways, yeah, he special summons dragons, helps with XYZs, and yada yada. You must play him because you can't run dragons without a red eyes. Unless if you play a Dragoon build, or if you're playing, I don't know. And dragon rulers are an exception too, so I know. So just pointing that out now. 2 Wyverns, they are kind of slow, very slow in deck, because you have to wait till you don't normal summon, and then at the end phase you can special summon a red eyes, except for Bee Chick apparently. So it's kind of annoying to wait, but it's definitely worth it. If it's like later game you can't normal summon, and then this one goes off to summon him. So, just saying. 2 Nori Sky Scourge. None of this matters except for the part where you pay 1,000 and both players send their hands and field to the graveyard. And then you draw 1 card. Pretty nice late game and pretty nice early game, because your opponent's not always going to be able to top deck. Not saying he will be able to, but it's always nice early game and sometimes late game where your opponent just can't do anything. Like, you're just sitting there and then they just have this big field because they outplayed himself, and you just Sky Scorch them and it just wrecks their whole field, and they're like, oh no, I can't actually do anything now. As I did say something about dragon rulers it'd be good against, but then dragon rulers can just special summon from the grave, so it's not that great that now I think of it. But it does shut down tons of decks that I can't think of right now. Like, I guess Lightsworn? Lightsworn would not appreciate this if you got rid of both Judgment Dragons. But if your opponent's getting both Judgment Dragons, they pretty much have an OTK. There's plenty of decks that shuts down, I'm promising you that. I just can't think of the names right now. So next up we have 2 Summoner Monks, which you discard a spell and you can special summon 1 level 4 monster. Cannot attack the turn you special summon it. So you bring out Armageddon, you could even bring out Phantom of Chaos, and just nuke the field, basically. And the hand, of course. Or you can go for Mystic Tomatoes, or Wyverns are nice, and just XYZ into rank 4 or something, you know. It's whatever you want to do. 2 Dark Creators. It's a must, because this card is really good in dark based decks. If you're playing DD Scalplane, this card can infinitely special summon stuff, but we're not, because this is Hopeless Dragons, not something else. So anyways, you have to have 5 or more darks in the grave, which is easy with all these milling effects and stuff. And basically you banish 1 dark from your grave and you special summon 1 dark from your grave. You have to control no monsters to special summon this card in the first place though. Scrubzilla plays this in Dark Worlds, which is very annoying, to tell you the truth. Like, it's the most annoyingest thing I've ever seen in my life. Other than Dragon Rulers, I guess. But, you know, this card is pretty good if you're playing decks like that or whatever. Dark Worlds can benefit off of it, even though it kind of can get in the way. And also, Noralis, Sky Scorch decks are good. Anything dark based that's good. As for what you want to banish, if you already used 1 Zephyros ability, I would just banish it. If you already Mystic Tomatoes, Phantom of Chaoses are pretty nice to banish. don't banish Red Eyes. Sky Scourge if you already got what you need off. Armageddons, or whatever. Basically, gain Dark Horse or Red Eyes is your goal with Dark Raider. 2 White Dragon Wife Busters. Wife Burster, I guess. You banish a Dark and you special summon this card. You can only special summon this card once per turn. So you can't just bring out 2 of them. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Black Dragon. It's the opposite thing that banishes a light from the deck, or the graveyard. But we're not playing Chaos Dragons, so we're not going to do that. It is good for rank 4s and stuff, so it is a must in the deck, I would say. But you don't have to run it, I guess. But then the deck is kind of slower, because you can't make Leviathan chains and stuff. So, 1 Allure of Darkness to banish 1 dark from your hand after you draw 2 cards, of course. Most of the time it's going to be Dark Armed. I would be honest about it. Or Sky Scourge if you can't get rid of it in the grave. Or Phantom of Chaos. Well, no, Phantom of Chaos you probably would keep. Because Phantom of Chaos always has something it can do. Except for this. It's also nice to get a Dark Armed Dragon effect off of it, so sending Dark Armed Dragon to the grave is nice. 2 DDRs. So you discard 1 card to special summon a remove from play monster. So Dark Raider banishes Red Eyes and special summons out Dark Horus. Then you would do Red Eyes again and get another Dark Horus or Galaxy Eyes. And then you would have a total of 6,000, 8,800, 11,000 I think it is. So, really nice if you plan on doing it that way. Also, the discard effect is pretty nice because you can discard Dark Arm, summon out Phantom of Chaos, and it becomes a Dark Arm card then. Or you can drop this, drop these, even drop the big old monsters, but then trade in becomes dead. So, yeah. Next up we have the Dark Hole. I don't need to explain that, I hope. 1 Foolish Burial, you send 1 monster to the grave from the deck to the grave. I like to send Zephyros because I like to make the where is it? It's the other way. I like to make Queen Dragoon ditch in. Special summon Red Eyes, wherever Red Eyes may be. And then activate Queen Dragon ditch in to special summon Red Eyes. Use wherever this card to bounce the Red Eyes to the hand. Then banish the Queen Dragoon card. Special summon out the Dark Horus. And then, if you're lucky enough to even have this in hand, different Dimension Reincarnation, bring back this card. And since this card is on the field, it would prevent destruction by battle of dragons except for itself. So, really good. There's a bunch of combos, but you have to get used to the deck really quickly to understand them. MST, loads up back row. Reinforcement to add Armageddon to dump whatever you need, or the Greffers are nice. The Greffer, not the Greffers. 3 trade-in, you play 4 of... Yeah, you play 4 level 8s. Actually, 6 level 8s. So, 3 trade-ins are nice. You could play 2, which I probably would switch this down to and put in something else. But I just don't know what to put in for another trade-in that would just help this deck run. And Cards Consonance isn't really needed in this deck anyways. Call the Haunted, 2 of them. It's not really a must, but it helps out when you're trying to get out certain cards. It's like, if you're bringing out Red Eyes Darkness Metal, or you bring this card out, it's pretty nice. And Return from a Different Dimension, obviously a must if you're banishing things, so you can swarm the field XYZ and just do shenanigans. Sky Scourge, you can't special summon from anywhere unless you've got fairy or fairy and 3 darks, and you can't do dark creator unless it's from hand. So I think that's how that works for that. So, and dark arms. So as for the extra deck, we had 1 Digesto, shuffle up stuff, Diamond Dyer, why not? We run enough level 8s that this card is needed. 1 Gaga Cowboy to do burn damage. This guy to wreck fields. 3 Lavable Chains. I think the milling effect is definitely needed. The Evier to bring stuff back from removed from play zone. Mistroke, why not? This card is pretty good. I don't ever make it, but it's good. Black Ship of Corn. I always run this. There's no reason I wouldn't run this. 1 Queen Djinn. You detach 1 to special summon 1 level 5 or higher dragon type monster from your graveyard, and it cannot attack and its effects are negated. So basically you could just pull out Dark Horus. I already checked Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. When its ability is negated, it can't banish itself. So yeah, so if you're thinking, oh, I could just bring this out and activate its effect, and there we go, we still have its effect. Nope, does not work like that, if you were curious. And wind up Xanamains, because why not? As for the side deck, I know Bruce tells me to build side decks as they are helpful, but in this game where they're just like broken, I just never feel the need to build a side deck. Like, the side decks are glitched, and when you throw in a card like a Pulse and then it becomes like MST, that is a good pointer not to even bother with side decking, unless if you just want to get random effects to go off and see what happens. So cards that were recommended that I didn't put in were like Delta Flyer, which is pretty nice. It lets you synchro up and stuff. Also you can change a level to level 4, so yeah, it's like, okay. Make rank 4s or level 8 stuff, so those are examples. BLS is pretty nice too. I just didn't have any room for it. Obviously I probably do if I take out a trade-in, but then I'll be at 27 monsters and 26 is already fine enough. So yeah, that's pretty much the deck, and the deck runs as smoothly as I'm hoping it, well, as smoothly as I can get it to go right now. I'm probably gonna tinker with it a little bit, just like how everyone's like, alright, no, there was a person that says something about my Itsu deck, where it's like, well, maybe if you mess around with it more, you would get some better results, and I'm like, well, possibly, but I'm not gonna be doing that for a while yet, so. Yep, that's pretty much it. So, things to watch out for are remove from play decks, because they wreck your graveyard. Skill Drain, Dark Worlds are pretty annoying to duel with this deck. Duel against with this deck, I mean. That's pretty much it, I think. Obviously there's 50 other thousand decks that probably stop this, but I'm just naming a few that I think I would possibly see compared to, like, I do not see Dragon Rulers as much as I would think, but I think people are just being honorable, I guess. But then again, people are saying they see Dragon Rulers all the time, so yep. So I will catch you guys later then. I hope you enjoyed this deck recipe. Let me know what you change, what you take out, what do you think is too slow in the deck, because obviously there's probably a few things there is. So yep, catch you guys later.